Hey loves, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought that I would go ahead and do a video kind of sharing with you guys some of the things that I've used in the years leading up until, now. So I had asked what were some videos that some of you wanted to see, and every time that I ask this question, I never ever get a ton of responses. I'm always just scrambling like, please somebody, please leave any suggestion down below. Someone did suggest or ask, or I wouldn't even say ask or suggest, but they kind of threw out that they would like to see some of my older bullet journals. And I have done videos like this in the past, but of course, as you know, I haven't done all of them for various reasons and things like that. But for the most part, I do have a collective stack here that I can share with you guys and just talk about some of the things. A lot of you have already seen these two. So, we'll kind of do comparisons between like styles and things like what has happened over the current or over the years. It is noticeably getting dark and it looks as though it may rain. So I may have to pause this video and like turn on a light. Yeah, let me go do that right now. Okay, that is the best that I can do. I like fumbled around with the lighting for a little bit. So hopefully everything just works out and there's not some funky shadowing that's going on. So yeah, like I was saying, one of you had basically threw out there that you would like to see some of like my older bullet journals, and I don't know. I think I kind of mentioned this before that I threw out a lot of stuff because a lot of our things were in storage, and a lot of my things kind of got damaged while we were away from our home goods for a year. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but I was able to save some of the things that I have. I don't have any of my older ring inserts anymore. If I do, then they're probably in a box somewhere in the basement. However, I have no recollection of where they are. And if I threw them out, then yeah, that's like the only other thing that I could show you guys, but I don't have that. So anyway, like I was saying, I thought that it would be a cool idea just to kind of give you some idea as to how my journey with planning has basically, been kind of interchanging between different things, different ways that I've done things, all that good stuff. I thought it would be fun to just kind of take a look back and just see like how it has evolved for me over the years. I'm definitely a more toned down planner than what I was when I first started planning, for sure. And also during the time that I was using a lot of these bullet journals here, this stack, I was also in my exploratory phase of planning. I was watching a lot of Dakshina. I was watching a lot of Monique Plans, she always changes her name on YouTube, but a lot of you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Monique Smith. I was watching a lot of her. I was also watching Mermaid Kitty. She doesn't post as much anymore. She hasn't posted in, I want to say, over a year. But I was watching a lot of her. I was getting influenced by a lot of different people. So collectively, I was taking a lot of different things that they were doing and trying to incorporate them into things that I liked doing, if that makes sense. So yeah, in terms of all of that, this is what I came up with. So yeah, let's go ahead and move my planners, my current stuff to date. And we'll talk about these later because I've shared them so many times on this channel. I don't feel like I need to share them again. So let's start with the oldest. Let's start with some of the older things. Now I have shared these bullet journals before. I think I shared them maybe a year ago. I shared them about a year ago, and I'll try to go really fast through some of these because there's like 6, 7, 8. There's like 10, 11 books here, and they're all hefty books. So I don't want to be taking a whole lot of time just basically reminiscing about one page or 1 month in each book. So I want to kind of show you, and hopefully we can get through all of these books in a reasonable amount of time. So like I said, this one was the oldest one. There are olders, but like I said, a lot of that stuff got damaged, and in the end it got tossed. So this one was during my Germany days. A lot of them are from my Germany days, if I'm being honest. Yeah, a lot of these books, the books that I had stacked here, they were from Germany. So we lived in Germany for about 3 years, and during that time, that's when I really put my foot into planning. I had always planned, but I wasn't into all of this stuff. Also, if you haven't noticed, I tend to gravitate towards thicker books. I just like thicker books. I have dabbled into thinner books, and I appreciate thinner books, hence the Loy Sturms and other things that I've used that you guys seen me use, like this book, which is relatively thin. It still has a decent amount of pages, but still thin and portable. So this book was something that I found off of YouTube, something that I found off of Amazon. And I used this book inside of a Lahit Lab Smart Fit case. I know a lot of people pronounce that name wrong. They call it Lit Lab or something, but it's called Lahit Lab. But anyway, this book was really a conjunction of watching Dakshina and how she used her Stalogies, and I was very intrigued with that style of planning that she was doing. And also during this phase, you may be getting my son and my husband in the background, but also during that phase, I was also subscribing to stickers. I had subscribed to the Sweet Kawaii design stickers. And what really stemmed this kind of stuff right here, like this little dashboard thingy and this, was simply because Dakshina was using vellums and acetate, and I had no idea what those were. I didn't even know where to get them. So I kind of collectively just used laminating sheets, and I would take a bunch of like these little, I think I got these from like AliExpress. They were like little decorative papers. Some that were vellum, some that were just ephemera, and I would just kind of, lay them out and then run it through the laminator, and hence I would have like this laminated page. And then a lot of times when I wanted a cover page that was really clear, I would, so the trick to this, so that the marker does not fade over time, is you open the laminator sheet. So I would open the laminator sheet, write in the month, and then close the laminator sheet and then run it through the laminator. So this will not wipe off. You can't scratch this off. It's on there. It's on there. So I would do that a lot to basically have like my own versions of acetate, because I didn't know where to get that kind of stuff. So this is a lined book, and wow, this book is old. So as you can see, it's kind of like coming apart. It's coming apart like right there. I'm not going to pull at it, but you can kind of see where it's coming apart. This book is from 2021. Gosh. 2021, I think. I know the book itself says 20. It might be from 2020. I might have actually started this in 2020, maybe late 2020. I was really bad at labeling the years back then. But anyway, so when I first, when I first jumped into this book, I really didn't have a direction. I'll try to zoom in a little bit more. I didn't have a direction for how I wanted to plan. Really, I just kind of did things that made sense to me. You'll notice that I said in recent videos that I wasn't really into tracking because I really didn't have a means for tracking, and I didn't really fully understand how to use trackers. So during this exploratory phase of planning, I was a stay-at-home wife. I didn't have a son. I didn't have any kids. And I was newly married during the time, and it just, I don't know, I really wanted to plan, but I didn't have a whole lot to plan, if that makes sense. So it's kind of just regurgitating on paper a lot of the things that I already did, like laundry and meal prepping and house chores. And I just would kind of do that over and over and over again. And it made me feel like I was really doing something back then. But when I go back into time and I look at this, and I'm just like, man, there's so many ways that I could have summed up a lot of these things. Unnecessary, just very unnecessary, but it worked for me back then, and I learned a lot from doing this back then. My hands are very dry, so I do apologize if that's bothering you. I have eczema, and I washed my hands and I didn't lotion them, so you get what you get. But this spread here is basically, it is a weekly, so it is in threes. It's split up into 3 sections. It's a weekly, it's a master to-do list, and it is a to-buy. And I, for this month, put all the weeks up front. So following June, I had June on 1 month, and then it was followed by all the weeks. And then I think that's when I went into my 2 days on 1 page. Let me get that right. It was 2 days on 1 page. So top is 1 day and bottom is 1 day. And I would have my to-dos, my top tasks, which today are your top 3, and then a small space for notes. Back then, I didn't have a whole lot of stuff to write. I absolutely did not know what to write. So it made sense to have a smaller note section because I had such a massive book. I didn't need a large note section. I'm listening to my son and my husband, and I'm just like, oh, their voices are definitely going to pick up in this video. But like I said, this was what I came up with during the time that I was in this phase of planning. I think I have described this before, so I won't go into too many details about it, but this is where I eventually ended up when I first set this up. And some things that I still do today, if you haven't paid too much attention to the way that I plan, I still do a master to-do list. I still do that. It has changed from the way that I go about doing it, but I definitely still do it. If you are familiar with me mentioning the ICDT layout, let me just see if I could quickly pull one up, because this will make a whole lot of sense if I have a visual with what the heck I'm referencing. Gosh, my son has been so fussy these days. Okay, so this right here, where I have ICDT, M and N, so I for in progress, C for cancel, D for done, T for transfer, M for migrate to the next month, N for needs, what did I write? Needs more attention or something like that. Oh, next action step, that's what it is. So these change, but the ICDT always remains. Oops, and I bumped you guys. This is my new master to-do list, and basically it is a list of everything that I need to do, and then instead of just checking it off or crossing it out, this way I'm able to see exactly where I am in the process of getting those tasks done, versus just having this random to-do list of things that I collectively dumped here and then trying to figure out where the heck in the spreads they got fulfilled. So yeah, I have I have developed quite a bit of like just tools for myself that just helped with planning for me a lot of the times. Yeah, I used staples. Back then I didn't have the little corrective tape. I had glue, I had a glue stick, and I had staples. I would still staple things today if they wouldn't interfere with the other side of the page. I would still do that, but they definitely, they definitely just, they're not fun to write on, so I just don't do it. But I did do that back then, and I'll try to go through this a little bit faster. I actually really loved this notebook when I was using it, because the paper was really thin. Here's another one of those little things I did. The paper was really thin. I'm probably gonna tell them to pipe down. They are screaming. Can y'all hear that? But yeah, like I was saying, I really liked this notebook back then, and I wasn't really scared to use all these different colors. I used to highlight things in different highlighters to indicate stuff. So like red, I think at the time was important, and yellow. I kind of followed that stupid red light, green light, yellow light phase, where it's like red means these are definitely need to get done. It's important. Yellow means they're kind of like, you know, it's cautionary. We need to get this done, but it's not a top priority. And then green was like, oh, it's good to go. I think that was my motto back then. It was very cliche, but it worked for me in terms of visuals. And if you notice anything about my planning, I still do these stupid little check marks, X's, and migrate symbols and stars. Like, do you see the little things that indicate tasks are completed? Again, I'm going to probably show this a lot, because do you see it? Do you see the comparisons? I very much so. Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. All right. I don't know where I left off. I walked away and I went to tell my family something, and I don't know. But anyway, do y'all see that over the years I have done the same things, planned the same way, but I have worked on my system for many years now, and doing that really allowed me to like just kind of experiment with different ways that I like doing stuff, 1, and 2, just have fun with trying out stuff. Hence why I love bullet journals so much, because this is where the exploration phase of planning really takes place for me. I really dive in and I try to think about how I want to set up different spreads. When I'm using rings like how I'm using right now, I'm solely using it because I just want to get information out, and I don't want to have to worry about weekly and monthly setups, and also just for convenience. But definitely, if I had a lot of time in the world, I would wholeheartedly opt for a bullet journal, because these things are just so, like, to me, the best things on earth to have. Also, during this time when I was using this bullet journal, I had made a sleep tracker, which I actually really loved, and I have tried to replicate this many times in other bullet journals, but I fail miserably at that. You might have seen this in some older videos, and during this part of the bullet journal, I'm gonna kind of just jump through really quick because we have a whole lot to cover. And I've already shared this bullet journal many times. I won't kind of go through all of these pages, but you kind of get a gist of, like, you know, and of course, a lot of it is blank. There are some stuff written in the back, but a lot of it is blank. I used it for 4 months, 4 or 5 months. Yeah, I used it for a good portion of time. I think I had surgery right around this time too. If you can notice, my handwriting is different too. My handwriting has changed over the years. I get a lot of compliments on my handwriting. To me, this is so sloppy and just so ugly, but I get a lot of compliments on my handwriting. This is also during a time when I used to print instead of cursive. And I don't know why, but someone told me that you have to print in your planners. I got the assumption that I had to print. Okay, so right after that bullet journal, another one I shared on my channel before was this 800-page bullet journal. Again, as you see, it's not really fully, I mean, I used some pages in the back, but it's not finished, mainly because it was huge, one, and two, I was also using a plethora of other things. Like if you've been following me for quite some time, any amount of time on my channel, then you'll probably already know this, that I bounced around from rings to books, and it was like night and day. I was using 2 or 3 things at the same time, and so I never collectively finished some of these things, but during the times that I was in them, I was definitely in them. So I got a lot of the inspiration with this bullet journal for sure from Dakshina. Let me say her name right. I got into stamping. I was really trying in terms of the planning part. Like I was trying out so many things. Like this spread I hate wholeheartedly, but it's just like a random to-do list with dinner, water, and weather. Oh my gosh, do you realize that I still do this today, where there is dinner, water, and it looks like the sun is shining. It just rained real bad, and then now the sun is shining. I wonder if I should turn the light off. Will that make a difference in the way? I don't know. I don't know if the video got darker or what. Hopefully you guys can still see. If you haven't noticed that I still do this very thing today, I'm going to probably reference a lot of this bullet journal because it just makes a whole lot of sense. Let me find a page in which there's like little to no stickers. Okay, so right there where the date is, and it says today's date, weather, dinner, and then today's to-do list, that layout is from this. I've been doing that for years. I think this is from, I don't know what year it's from. Did I tape this over? Oh my God, I did. I don't want to show anything. I don't know. I think it's from 2020. 2020? Yeah. 2020. So since 2020, I've been doing the same layout. I'm not going to go through all the spreads in here, but I'm going to give you an idea of what I have done. So yeah, I used a lot of stickers, hence you see a lot of stickers and stamps and like highlighter. I also did some in-between journaling between each week, which also helped me get through this book a lot quicker. Like I said, I did not have tape. The double-sided tape. So I like taped these in here, which was very tacky. But I did it and I didn't like it, but it worked out. Almost made me quit this whole book. This spread here almost made me quit this entire book in its entirety. I glued in this monthly, did all these colors, and absolutely hated it. And then of course I didn't have vellum. I didn't have none of that fancy stuff that I was seeing everybody with. So I took some tissue paper and laminated it, which was very tedious and hard, but I did it just so I could have like this vellum type effect. And yeah, this was what I did. And of course I drew in here, I painted in here. I had painted this These are some of my best spreads in this book. In my personal opinion, some of my best spreads were these spreads here, where I had drew these borders and I had all these different colors and just all this fun, just real life fun going on. I was also doing moods at the time. I got this idea from Mermaid Kitty. She was also doing this in her planners at some point in time, and I loved the idea, and I took that. Always giving her credit for where I got it from, but I loved it, so I took it. And yeah, this was my planner for a long time. And then I did this like Dutch, what is this? Like a Dutch door type of thing. Little bit of journaling here. So I have, and this book is so old, it's so funny to just go back through it. Watercolor paper, did some flowers. I was actually watching an art video when I did this and was learning how to do like roses with watercolor and some other kind of paint that I was using. But nonetheless, this book, this is cardstock, and I don't even know why I taped it in, but again, I didn't have vellum or none of that stuff. And this came from a coloring book, and I colored it in. I used my markers and I colored this. And this is how I got a lot of my ephemera back in the day. This was from a coloring journal book. I colored the border and then taped it in. But this was how I got a lot of the little ephemera type stuff. I painted this, I drew this, I painted it. Lots of fun. I did trackers, I journaled in here, I painted, I did meal planning. Back then I didn't have tabs. These actually are attached to the monthlies because they came from a book. But back then I didn't have tabs, so what I was doing was just coloring like the little edges. And that's what I got in terms of like those two books. Okay, so where did my planning take its official turn into a much more simpler form? I will say it was between these three books here. So the top one is Stalogy, obviously, and then these two are Moleskines. So we'll start with this one first. So this is a Moleskine 18-month daily planner. I got this planner right around the time that my son was born, and I was already using a few other things. Prior to that, I don't even know what I was using at the time, but I was using a few different things prior to my son being born. And I'll say that this one didn't last long. It did last for a good chunk of time. I want to say it lasted into November, so I got it probably July. Okay, so I had to cut some part of the video, and I'm not really sure where I like stopped off, but I think I was mentioning that this is a Moleskine 18-month, and I think that I used this planner up until November. And yeah, it didn't last long because during that time a lot of stuff was going on where I was at, and also I was a new mom. I had just had a C-section, and yeah, a lot was just happening, so I really didn't have time to journal. And not only that, I was just tired, and I just didn't have the energy to do a lot of the things that I wanted to do. So it kind of just got pushed off to the wayside. But this planner was the start of when my son was born. Let me see something. Did I just share something? Okay, I didn't share anything. I didn't share anything that I wouldn't have shared or would be afraid to share. Okay, so like I was saying, this planner was like I want to say this was the first 18-month planner that I ordered from Moleskine, and it is the soft cover, and this was when they had that good paper. I still to date love this book, not this one in particularly, but I love the Moleskine 18-month planners, specifically the soft cover, because just look how floppy it is, and like it just had like that throw me around, get damaged kind of a feel to it. And that's what I really loved. Also, during this time, I didn't know how to do tabs. So when I did this, I jacked it up horribly and regretted it. But then that little sticky adhesive was there and I couldn't change it, couldn't fix it. But anyway, I was using this. I think my sole intent was to document the first year of my son's life. And I later moved into other things to do that. But see, this is what I'm talking about. Like, all these pages got stuck together because I used these tabs completely wrong. I think that I would never do that again. But nonetheless, yeah, I was using this to basically document my son's life. And I don't know what my whole intent or purpose was with this particular bullet journal. I think I just wanted something that was already kind of dated and I could just go in and do whatever. And you'll see here that a lot of the first couple of spreads, I think I had just came home from, I was in a hospital. I was in a hospital these days. And then I think these were the days that I finally came home. Ooh, so old. I didn't really know how to use this planner per se. I kind of had some sort of an idea as to what I wanted to do, but I really didn't know as much. And so this kind of just became like a dumping ground. I know this day was bad because of the sticker. It just kind of became like a dumping ground at first for just random stuff. And eventually I started journaling about stuff. I think I was going through postpartum depression heavily during this time too. So I was writing, but I wasn't really planning per se. I mean, there were things that I had to do for my son at this time. And this is when I was tracking a lot of the like little things that I was taking. Like I was taking vitamin C, D3, prenatal, calcium, iron. So I was put on an iron supplement. Then I was put on a stool softener and some other stuff because I had C-section. And so I know TMI, but it's life. I really like this. And like I said, this was the time that Moleskine had this really good paper. It didn't bleed too much. I mean, the pens that I was using were very inky, but it did not. The newer Moleskines, they bleed very bad with like everything, like every little thing. Even like highlighter and stuff bleeds through. If you remember when I bought one back when we lived in Altus, and I was saying how like the highlighter bled through so bad. When I had this one, I didn't get that experience. Highlighter doesn't bleed through in this one. But anyway, this planner here was my favorite planner. I was using these metallic markers that I had got. I was using a lot of my stickers. I was journaling. I was keeping track of all the little medications I was taking. I was laying stuff down, like stickers and ephemera. I don't know. And then the days that I don't have anything going on, obviously there's no schedule, but there's to-do list. And believe it or not, when I was sharing these planners at the time on my channel, they're some of the most viewed and liked videos. And I really don't know why. I don't know why that is. But I collectively do the same thing in all my planners. If you're noticing some patterns, some changes, I don't do this little stickering anymore. I found it to be very time consuming and unrealistic to the actual plan that I was trying to do. And so I just don't do it. It did give me a good purpose to use my stuff and to use a lot of the stickers that I was gifted over time, but I don't use that stuff as much anymore. This was from a shop that is no longer, from Sunshine Sticker Co. I think I ordered some books. This was somebody's birthday. Somebody's birthday was on this day. Whose birthday was it today? Oh, today is my husband's birthday. Okay, so 26th of September. We're in September. Ooh, okay. But yeah, I was using this, and that's basically all this planner really is. It's just a line down the middle, journaling on one side, planning on the other, and then you see a bunch of blank pages. So this was one form of planning that I did. When I was done with that, um, I jumped into this. This one I will say is the best one that I have because it showed a realistic way of both journaling and planning and just being a introduction to all the things that I've done in here. So if you've seen any amount of this bullet journal and how it looks, that really comes from this. And typically what happens is when I am really in love with a book or I'm really enjoying a book, it becomes my one and only book that I use for everything. And it could be thoughts, it could be journaling, or it could be thoughts, it could be planning, it could be notes, it could be anything. So this, like I said, was a Stalogy. And I still have things in here that I collected from like appointments, which probably faded. Yeah, this was like a little number thing. This definitely was a number from like appointments. Yeah, it was like an ultrasound ticket. It's definitely faded out from when I went to the hospital in Germany. But yeah, like if I had to go back in time, this was my favorite bullet journal. It started out with a monthly, and I really liked planning in this. This thing traveled with me back home. So when we were living in Germany, we flew home for Christmas, and a lot of you will probably remember that I took this planner with me. And that's basically all it is to-do lists and notes. And I think I was tracking water down here, and I don't know what this is. Oh, my son's temperature. Why was I tracking his temp? I think he might have been sick. He might have been sick, and that's probably why I was tracking it. I used to do a weekly up at the top with a note section, and then this was all of my medications and vitamins that I was taking at the time, and then this little portion here was dinner plans for the week, and then I used this little section over here to write mini notes. This is how I used this planner. So I interlinked the week and then the days, and then it went back into a week and then followed by the days, and it went like that throughout until the next month. I also liked washi taping in things like this little sticker, or this little note paper, which had like some different type of to-dos. I often threw stickers in. This is crooked. I don't even know how it got to be crooked. I don't know. You'll see a lot of red. I did a lot of things in red. I crossed out things. Over time, that method of crossing out didn't really fully work for me because I couldn't tell if I just crossed it out because it was irrelevant or if it is something that I, need to do. I don't know. Or if I couldn't tell you. But yeah, I would say this bullet journal here is one that I thoroughly enjoyed, really enjoyed. Again, got the idea. I was very inspired by Dakshina to even try the Stalogy, and that's where a lot of it comes from. Still my own style of planning, but a lot of the wanting to use the same notebook, figuring out the paper and things like that. I was watching a lot of her videos for inspiration, and that's what you should do if you're watching other people. You should watch their videos for inspiration to help with your own planning or your own journaling. You should never try to fully replicate someone else's things because then it won't be authentic or true to you. So I always watch for inspiration. And I was watching a lot of her at the time, but I really liked this bullet journal. and it really shows what I valued most during my planning periods, my planning phase during this time. I was using like metallic markers to write in the dates. Good times. A lot of little note taking here. Back to, I think I circled this because I was trying to figure out like, okay, these were all the things that I missed this week. And you know, I think I was budgeting out, I think I was budgeting out our trip home or something. It was Ashton's milk, my son's milk. I think that's what I was doing. It's funny to look at it now, see how much money I was spending on certain things. Well, baby check on the 26th. Nice to see that it's still in here. I was working on my 2022 planner lineup. So I think this is still from 2021, if I'm being honest. Like I said, a lot of these are not going to be finished because I was using so many different things. It's hard to keep up with what I actually fully used. But as you can see, I was consistent nonetheless with whatever I was using. Yeah. What is this? Good grief. I don't know what the heck that's the heck that says. You'll see page flags. I still do that stuff today. Page flags, still taping in things. Again, I don't think I had double-sided tape. This was right around Christmas time. I think we were getting ready to go home. Was taping in a lot of stuff. I had a whole little schedule for what I wanted to film for YouTube. I wanted to do a plan with me, and then I had like this, like the edit, upload, and when it was gonna go live. Look at me planning. And then this is when I started really journaling in here. I was using these pages to journal, which is something I discovered that I liked. Especially when I'm in a bullet journal, it just makes sense for me to have everything together like this. Not only that, it helps me get through the books faster. And then also, I like to keep some of my bullet journals, the ones that I really like, for inspirational inspirational purposes, because you can get inspired by some things that you've used in the past. They can spark inspiration. Ooh, I don't even know what that is. But yeah, this was wrapping paper. Love this. This is one bullet journal I don't often share or flip through because I think I flipped through it so many times on my channel. But I think a lot of you are sick of it. Another month. And then I think this is when I stopped using it, really. So at this point, I think I'm like halfway in the book. Yeah, translucent sticky notes. Are they still even a thing? They were heavy back then around this time. Lazy day. Did not use this book today. I think I set up the other days, but I didn't use them. I did jump in and do journaling. So like right here, journaled. I think I did this while we were in our home state. As you can see, half the book is used. I think I did this when we were in our home state. They're just Christmas songs. This video is going to be long, so brace yourself. Christmas Day, Hobby Lobby paper, Christmas washi tape that I loved. And then I think I did a video where I was showing or like testing out certain stuff. And then that's the end of this book. I never finished these little back pages back here. That was the end of this one. Ooh, we're getting there. We're getting there. And then, okay. So last bullet journal I want to say from that year was this Moleskine expanded. This is a 400 page. I think this was right around the time that we're getting ready to leave Germany. And I had got this book and I just wanted something simple, so it goes right into like my future log. See, hello OKC by Germany. So we're leaving. I've documented all the times that we've left. Man, my hands are really dry and ashy. I've documented all the times that we've left. I also had a spending log for each month. This was a bullet journal that I left, then came back to. I've never done that fully ever in any bullet journal. I've never left a bullet journal after using it for 2 months, not use it for a couple months, and then go back to it. That just sounds mind-blowing to me that I did that. But I did do that for this one. It was a spending log, gratitude. It goes into my monthly. And then I did this funky week on one page with tracking. This was all the medications. This was other stuff like workout journal, stupid stuff, dinner plans. I have no idea what this is. Yeah, I don't even know what this is anymore. Water intake, note section. Too much. The week is busy, but the days stay the same throughout every planner that I've been in. Running to-do list, notes on one side. It works. Do not change something that works. It definitely works. It has gotten me very far. That's all I will tell you. It's gotten me very far. I've weaned out and got rid of the unnecessary and kept the things that are most important. Again, another week. Still have no idea what the heck this is. Days. And it basically just goes like that all throughout. Again, another one, Stranger Things. Another one I did start doing this clock thing. So I talked about it in an older video where I started doing the clock thing. I also journaled in here too. And again, because this is a Moleskine, this was the Moleskine with the good paper. Yeah, it didn't have too much bleeding through. That was not a thing. Like the whole bleed through. Do you see how dark this is? It didn't bleed through really on this flipping paper. I don't know. I mean, there maybe because I think I was coloring really hard, but I didn't have too many problems with this paper at all. Like at all. I loved this paper. I don't know what they've done to their books, but it is not the same paper, and I definitely noticed it the last time I had a Moleskine, which is why I decided to jump over into the Leuchtturms. And surprise, surprise, I like the Leuchtturms a whole lot. I have a lot of these littler journals and like passport size books that I will not go through in this video because I fear that this video is like an hour plus long. But if you made it this far, if you stuck around this far to see into some of my bullet journals and just kind of hang out with me, I commend you and I thank you for that. We also hit 3,000 subscribers today. Yay! You have no idea how excited I was when I seen that. I am amazed. I am always amazed when you guys like the content, because I remember when I first started my YouTube channel, I really had no direction and I really didn't know what the heck I was doing. And I was trying really hard to find my niche on the internet. And over the years, I found that if I just shared what I was most passionate about, other people will probably have a common interest. And this is something that we can all vibe over. And over the years, we have all collectively come together and vibed over the same BS. Washi tape, stickers, notebooks, and planning. But it's beautiful. It's like our little corner of the internet that just we get happy about. So I am so happy that a lot of you have stuck around and decided to join. So I thank you all so much for that. And yeah, I hope that we can continue to grow. And I'll continue to share the things that I have. And I'll continue to encourage you guys, use your shit, use your stash. And take all the ideas that you see and create something great. So with that being said, I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video where I'll talk about these things here. Oh my goodness. I'll talk about those things, and I'll see you guys. So yeah, bye loves.